Hey guys, Untitled Chapter 525 here, and welcome to the first of 3 reviews I will be doing for this winter break, as I should say. And that is on Bachmann Rheneas. Wow, usually I would put him in the shop by now, but here is Rheneas. Man, what a wonderful, wonderful model. So let's start with a brief history on Rheneas. You know, not in the TV series, first in real life. So let me just place him here for now so he's in the shot. So Rheneas is based off of, I don't know how to pronounce this, but I'm going to say Dolgok, one of the locos on the Tallylyn Railway. I believe he is Tallylyn's cousin. I think that's the way they would say it. Tallylyn's cousin or Skarlowi's cousin. And yeah, they both have worked on the Tallylyn Railway. And are still there to this day. So if you want to ever go over to, you know, Europe and see them, I'm sorry, I should be a little more specific than that, but yeah, they are there. I think that they do give tourist rides going around. I mean, and the scenery is absolutely beautiful. I will say that. I've seen many videos on YouTube with Dolgok and Tallylyn, and they, well, definitely worth the trip. And that's something that I do wish to do in the future. But yeah, that's Dolgok. Now let's go into the TV series. So, as we all know, Rheneas was from the very start of the narrow gauge, the first narrow gauge season of the TV series, season 4, and along with Skarlowi and, you know, the main narrow gauge cast, and he is still seen to this day. Now, one thing I will touch upon right now is that there's been many disputes on Rheneas' livery, especially regarding the merchandising, because as we all know, many of Rheneas's you know, wooden railway models, take and play models, Tomy Trackmaster, they've always portrayed him in a pink livery. I don't know why. I know some magazine stories had him in a pink livery, but I find it quite ironic that, considering how many TV series episodes there were, they still never corrected it until, I believe, finally Wooden Railway corrected it in 2012 or 2013. It was around the time when Mattel took over the Wooden Railway. But yeah, but thankfully Bachmann got the livery correct, as we can see right here. But yeah, so that's one thing I want to touch upon. Throughout the TV series, Rheneas has, you know what, I will say he's had a pretty consistent personality. You know, I know with Skarlowi it's been much different. You know, he turned into a complete wimp, I think, starting season 7 with the old bridge. Rheneas wasn't as much of a problem. He stayed pretty consistent. I think he has gained a more childlike complexion throughout the later model series, but in the CGI series, he gained that, you know, old, wise personality that he had in season 4. So, but yeah, that's him in the TV series. So why don't we go right into the Bachmann model now? So once again, this is one of Bachmann's best models. I have no complaints. Well, yet. Just holding him around so you guys can get a good look at him. The face is CGI. I actually don't have a problem with the face. I think I said the same thing with Skarlowi. I'm not really sure. I remember in my Skarlowi review I said I was thinking of converting him into a Bandai Tex model. I will not be doing that. Because the Bandai Tex model is just too big, considering that it is, even though it is very accurate to the original season 4 model. But yeah, one thing I will touch upon right now, if you, I did mention in my Christmas Presents 2017 video, is that there were many models of Rheneas that came out by Bachmann that were defective, in that this right here, or actually it's not this, but the body shell wasn't sitting on the chassis correctly. It was almost like tilted in a way, and also I think a lot of them had broken whistles, or the whistles were bent, something like that. But thankfully, with my Rheneas, I actually physically, you know, I went to Train World in Brooklyn and actually tried out the model to see how it runs, and they let me hold the model so I can inspect it and make sure I didn't get a defective model. So I got very lucky with the model. So right here, you know, as you can see, this is not a defective model, which I'm very happy about. But yeah, I ran him. He runs wonderfully. Maybe, you know, actually I might run him in a later clip of this review. Yeah, I'm sorry. Just, once again, I am hesitating as I always do. But anyways, as you can see right here, this is plastic. This is all metal, but that's plastic. That's something I noticed that Bachmann's starting to do. They did it with Skarloey, they did it even with Rosie, who's a standard gauge model, and now they're doing it with Rheneas. Now, I think it's just to save money, but it does look a little peculiar. I mean, hey, if they're trying to save money, it's understandable, but I shouldn't be complaining about it too much. Yeah. So, now a lot of people have actually said that the funnel is a little on the thin side. I mean, that's understandable, but I don't see it to be too much of an issue. It's still very nice. It's sturdy. It's not. It's molded very nicely, as you can see. But yeah, I mean, you got the rivets and everything. One thing that I do like about Rheneas that's different from Skarloey is that his cab windows are open all the way around. Whereas with Skarloey, I think one side... Actually, give me a second to go get Skarloey. I'll be right back. And we're back. So as I said, regarding the cab windows, yes, Skarloey's front windows for... I'm sorry, no, not his front windows. Yes, his front windows. Oh, wow. Now I'm thinking. His front windows are closed in for some odd reason, and then the back ones are open. That's an interesting choice. I never really understood why Bachmann did that. But, hey. One thing about Rheneas, though, another thing about Rheneas that I really like more than Skarloey, actually two things. The first is the fact that his cylinders are a nice size. If you look at Skarloey's, they're a little bit on the big side, if you look carefully, you know. Whereas with Rheneas, I'd say they're exactly in scale, which is nice to see. Another thing that's really cool about Rheneas, I mean, this is probably, in my opinion, the most impressive thing, is the fact that they even have a molded firebox in there. I mean, considering that this is narrow gauge, and that none of their standard gauge models have this kind of detailing, I mean, this is just so impressive. Although, one thing that I do not really understand is why the interior of the cab up here is a beige cream color, whereas the bottom of it is all black. I mean, if I could choose how the cab to look, I would have just painted the whole interior black. But that's just me, or at least you know, this orange color that he is. And that's another thing I want to talk about. Rheneas is of course fantastic in that they chose to make him orange. But the one thing I will say is that he's a little bit on the light side. If you ever look in the TV series, he's not this bright of an orange. He's closer to more of a red orange, almost in between this and Skarloey, rather than this. But I'm not complaining. It's still a very, very nice model. The only reason why I see that as an issue is that, as we all know, Rusty is also orange, and he's technically lighter than Rheneas. So with Bachmann, are they going to find a way to make a lighter orange shade for Rusty? If so, how much lighter, so that it doesn't look odd? But, you know, that's just something to think about. But yeah, once again, this is wonderful. They got all the colors correct. They have the CGI detailing here. Nameplate looks wonderful. But yeah, and as I said, he does run very, very well. From 2016. They even have the little lamp on the back. And what's really cool is that it's not the same kind of lamp as Skarloey. Over here. I'm sorry. Very bad shadow. If you look, Skarloey's is more of a round shape, whereas Rheneas's is... why did the lighting change? It's more of a square shape. Now that's just wonderful detailing on Bachmann's part. But yeah, I'm sorry, I'm trying to make the lighting go back to how it was, but it's just, whatever. So that's Rheneas. Let's lastly go into the packaging here. Now once again they changed the packaging, not only for Rosie, but also for Rheneas. It's this new, I don't even know what kind of blue that is, but it's an interesting blue. Rheneas, H&R gauge runs and track. They still have it as 14, age 14 and up, which is pretty awesome, I have to say. And then here's everything you can get on the back. So Skarloey and Rheneas. They don't have Rusty back there yet, but as we do know, he's currently announced, considering the fact that he's in the catalog and he was in the 2017 announcements. But yeah, I look forward to seeing Rusty. I do plan on getting him as well. And again, thank you, Bachmann, so much for these wonderful, wonderful models. I mean, the fact that they're made out of metal, not plastic, makes them stand out. And hey, I'd say even though these are expensive, I mean, I paid $100 for Rheneas, I'd say it's worth the penny. And last thing I will mention is that definitely get Rheneas as soon as possible, because we all know what happened with Skarloey, in that he became, he was out of stock on Bachmann for many, many months, and I believe he still is out of stock. And so, since Rheneas is available now, get your hands on one as soon as possible. That's all I would say. But that's about it. So this is Untitled Chapter 525. And here's a little montage of Rheneas running around the narrow gauge scenes. See you guys.